Being diagnosed with a chronic disease can be soul crushing, and learning to live with that's a whole nother story. And I would know because I have lived with ulcerative colitis for over 10 years. And over that decade, I have made many mistakes. So I'm making this video so you can learn from my mistakes and you don't have to make them too. So the first thing that you should avoid is giving up. It's all too easy to feel like your life is over. You've been diagnosed with a chronic disease. How are you going to live with this? But giving up is the gateway to stagnation in your life, and it's going to stop you from taking that healing journey that you so deserve. I know this feeling all too well because for the first about 7 years of my diagnosis, I had given up. I thought I wouldn't even make it to my 30s. I was diagnosed in my early 20s and I thought my life was over. I thought I was going to die, but I didn't. Now I'm here, I'm going to be 33 soon, and I am still alive. And I wish that I didn't give up on myself because I missed out on so many opportunities because I thought that my time was over. I thought that my life was tarnished and there was no point pursuing anything. And that stopped me pursuing things that I could have done, like going for jobs, doing things that I wanted to do, making YouTube videos like I've always wanted to do, all because I thought my life was over. And it stopped me looking after myself too, which leads into the next thing, which is to focus on your sleep. Sleep is so important. Well, the mistake is to not focus on your sleep. Make sure you are allocating yourself time to go to sleep. Now, I know it can be hard to go to sleep. It can be hard to get back to sleep if you wake up. It can be hard to even get up in the morning because you feel so fatigued. Chronic disease brings fatigue. So for us, suffering with chronic disease, it's ever so more important to get that sleep. So really make sure that you carve out time so you can get enough sleep. If you know it takes you 10 hours in bed to get 8 hours of sleep, allocate yourself 10 hours if you can. Try and have a nap. I'm not much of a napper, but give it a go. See if you can be one of those people that can nap. But sleep is going to be so important for you getting that energy. The next mistake is to eat junk foods, to eat crap, food that doesn't fuel you. For anyone, not just people with chronic disease, but particularly for us people with a chronic disease diagnosis, getting food with lots of nutrients, micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, you need it. You need it for healing, you need it for building blocks, you need it for energy, you need it just to feel good. We all do, just as humans. And to be fueling your body with inflammatory foods, highly refined sugars, fueling yourself with energy drinks, eating lots of, the list could go on. There's a vast amount of foods out there that are not worth eating. And the sooner you can accept that they're not good for you, put them to the side, and the sooner you will start feeling better. Food is so important, and it's very individual too. Foods that work for me might not work for you. So one of the best things you can do is write down the foods that make you feel awful, that make you feel bloated, that might put you in a flare if you're in one of those chronic disease states. Make sure you avoid those foods at all costs. And that food's going to give you the energy so you can avoid this next mistake, and that is not taking your physical health seriously. Start doing some exercise, even just walking. You don't have to lift weights, but I tell you what, I've been living with ulcerative colitis probably over 11 years now, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And you know why? It's because I focused on the 3 pillars we just talked about. That's sleep, diet, and exercise. Those 3 things in tandem will propel you into being the fittest version of yourself. And now you don't compare yourself to all these people on Instagram. Don't compare yourself to these fitness models. Don't even compare yourself to me. Compare yourself to you. Who are you today and who can you be tomorrow? The best thing you can do is start moving. It can be any sort of moving. Like I said, just walking. Get your shoes on and go for a walk. You can lift weights if you have the energy. You probably should lift some weights. I know the fatigue is real, but push through that fatigue just a little bit. Don't push yourself too hard, obviously. Do a little bit. Get yourself used to moving. Start slow. Add stuff over time and you will change who you are. The next mistake is to avoid medications. Medications have saved my life. If I didn't go and get my biologic drug that I'm on, I've been on it for about 3, maybe 4 years at this point, I might be dead. Biologics have saved my life. Medications can help. That's why they exist. Big Pharma isn't trying to kill you. Make use of those medications because they can help. If I'm not on these medications, my risk of colon cancer is so much higher because I'd probably just be in flare. Before I was on biologics, I was in and out of flares constantly over 7-year span. And that's why I ended up going on these biologics. Medications will obviously vary depending on the chronic disease that you have. But medications are there for a reason. Yes, I know they have their own set of downsides. For instance, I'm on azathioprine. One of the downsides is there's a higher chance of leukemia. I have to defend myself from the sun. I am forever putting sun cream on because I have a greater chance of skin cancer. It's annoying. But do you know what's more annoying? Flaring. Now, the next mistake is to isolate yourself. Don't isolate yourself. Find a community. When I was in hospital for the biggest flare of my life, do you know what got me through that? It was Discord. It was the internet. It was finding people who have also been in those flare states. It was finding people that know exactly what I've been through. It was talking to people who are just starting and I can help them, imparting my knowledge, sharing with them and helping them get through it. It helped me get through it too. Find yourself a community. Share your experiences and help your community. People will help you. There's always someone who's worse off than you. There's always someone who's better off than you. Help each other. You can share that knowledge and we can build each other up. The next thing is to just try and pretend nothing's happening. Sometimes you might start flaring and you say, oh, I'll leave it a week. I'll wait a week. I'll wait a month. Oh, it's nothing serious. Oh, I don't want to get it checked out. Oh, I'm embarrassed. You're doing yourself a disservice if you're doing that because it might get worse. If I was to wait with one of my flares and just say, I don't want to do this, I don't want to go to the hospital, I don't want to take my meds, I'm going to skip my medications this month, I'd probably be flaring right now. In fact, I might even be back in the hospital. Maybe I'd have one of those stoma bags because my flare got so bad. Don't do that. Don't ignore the symptoms that are coming up. Research the typical symptoms that you see before you start flaring. What things do you notice? For me, that is, I get this unusual, I call it unnatural fatigue. There's no other way of me describing it. This is fatigue that feels like it shouldn't exist. I'm feeling it very intensely for whatever reason. And then a few days down the line, oh, I'm flaring. Oh, I'm bleeding. Well, it turned out it was because there was a flare inbound. And your body kind of knows before your brain knows. There's these physical symptoms. There are other symptoms for me, but that is the main one for me, is this unnatural fatigue. And I kid myself every time it comes into effect. I think, it's nothing. I'm just having an off day. Because it's so difficult to figure out what the hell is going on. Yes, chronic disease is confusing and it is a nightmare, but we can make it better. So those are the things that you should avoid and the mistakes that I have made over my decade of living with ulcerative colitis. If you do want to join my Discord, there is a link down below, and subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for listening.